Welcome back to HM&E Review Things. We have a very special guest today. Optimus Prime is here, and we're going to be talking about the latest Transformers movie, Rise of the Beasts. I did not watch this movie. I did not watch the last, I don't know how many there have been. I watched the first Transformers movie, the first Bayformers, and that's all.
Yep.
So I haven't watched it. There's been 7? Oh, dear. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
You have Transformers, then followed by Dark of the Moon.
No, Revenge of the Fallen.
Sorry, Revenge of the Fallen.
Take this off.
Then Dark of the Moon, and then Age of Extinction, then the worst one, The Last Night, and then you had the Bumblebee,
Reset.
and now Rise of the Beasts.
Okay. Yeah. So Rise of the Beasts. High level thoughts, gentlemen. What did you think of Rise of the Beasts? Coming off of it's been a pretty packed summer blockbuster season already. Mm-hmm. We've had Across the Spider-Verse. We've had Fast X. Where does this fall in that spectrum?
Well, for me, I think it kind of falls in the middle, but lower middle, closer to Fast X. I mean, it's still enjoyable. I liked Fast X, but
yes.
you know there are some
Review
issues.
Here.
Some issues with this film.
I don't even know where to begin because we grew up with the Transformers. Clearly, with so many toys here.
Yeah, this is the first time we've had this many on-brand items, decorations for our video.
Of course, Rob has a massive collection. I have one downstairs. I didn't take most of my Transformers out. Clearly, the franchise means something to us. We grew up with the Transformers cartoon, which was a cartoon made. I think it was one of the first to do it. A cartoon made to sell toys.
Yep.
Really, it was a toy line that they needed something to promote it, so they made these cartoons. And when Transformers 2007 was announced as a live action, I was really excited because really wanted to see what the graphics could do, how they would render Optimus Prime and all that kind of stuff. And I guess the quick level summary is, after the Bayformers, a few years ago, they had Bumblebee, and I thought that was a fresh new story.
Yeah.
The look.
It was a reset of the universe, was it, or no?
No, it's actually still part of the Bay universe.
It's a prequel.
Mm-hmm. Oh, so that Bumblebee from Bumblebee becomes the Bumblebee we see in the first Bayformers.
Yes, in which Shia LaBeouf,
yes,
buys.
I see. Okay.
So then you come to Rise of the Beasts, and I felt like it was
Is it still prequel?
It's still prequel. It's in 1994.
Okay.
So it's 15, 20 years before the Bayformers.
Okay.
So I guess they just landed on Earth for a few years, and they're stuck on Earth now.
And then they've discovered that there are also animal Transformers here.
Well, that's a separate storyline. If you remember Beast Wars, right?
I do remember Beast Wars.
Beast Wars is supposed to take place, I think, about 300 years after G1. And then what had happened was they somehow end up going back in time to prehistoric Earth, where you have dinosaurs.
Okay.
And then that Earth was apparently enriched with a lot of energon.
Okay.
And the reason why they take their beast forms was because their robotic forms kept, the energon in the robot forms had a really weird interaction with each other, where they kind of overloaded.
Okay.
So they needed that
they
organic
need to find
layer
some animal form,
to transform to, and hence why why you always see in Beast Wars they're always in their animal form.
Yes.
Until they
need to fight. That was cool. I mean, is Megatron in this one?
No, he's not.
What? I mean, of all the animals in Beast Wars, the T-Rex is cool because he was the T-Rex, right?
Mm-hmm. No, they're not fighting other animal robots. They're fighting Unicron. And his goons. So it's like a mash of different stories.
So the premise of Rise of the Beasts is again, it's in this other universe in which they have the transwarp MacGuffin.
Conduit.
I keep on thinking conduit. It's a transwarp device in which Unicron was after. And then they somehow use it and transport back to Earth in 1994.
This is why I haven't watched any. None of this This is also convoluted.
Yeah.
I thought they already did Unicron.
They did. He was actually Earth.
Yeah.
Oh,
so I don't. Again, that's why I don't think it's, for some reason, Rob. It's supposed to be a prequel, but it doesn't tie to the Bayformer error. It's weird.
Okay.
So my basic premise is Bumblebee. I thought, okay, they're going to restart it. They look more like the G1 form.
Sure.
And okay, so it had a good start. You know, it was a simple story. It wasn't world ending. It was just about Bumblebee fighting one or two Transformers, and you know, he befriends someone. And at the very end, he meets up with Optimus Prime. You're like, okay, they're going to restart it. But I felt like this one, they just took all that good stuff and they threw it all away and they said, okay, let's bring it back to what the Michael Bay Transformers is kind of like. So MacGuffins, you know, cheesy one-liners. They look like the Bayformers. They don't look like G1 anymore. They're, you know, it's all that stuff. So, but this is like their greatest hits. It's like they took everything from the Bayformers and they thought, let's throw in the, you know, one or two animals. Let's throw in Prime again. Got to have a Bumblebee not talking again. We got to have quippy dialogue, and you know, it just filmed a little bit differently. But I feel it's essentially back to the Michael Bay era.
But they did change it a bit, where Bumblebee is actually not the main focus transformer. I mean, aside from Optimus Prime, it's actually Mirage, which is a Porsche.
The Porsche,
right?
Pete Davidson voices him.
Okay.
You know, popular comedian.
Yes. Okay. So, you know, the lore, the universe seems to be all over the place.
Yes.
And maybe reverting to some of its worser instincts. What about the other aspects? The actors. Who's in this? Anthony Ramos?
Yeah, the guy from Hamilton.
Yeah.
I think he was trying his best.
Yeah.
He's pretty funny.
Okay.
He's believable. They throw him a sad backstory, so he's got more sympathy.
Yeah.
He's fine in it.
Is Haley Steinfeld in it?
No, she's not.
Which you know what, I think this was a mistake not to cast her, because they introduced another actress. I forgot her name. It says here, so I'm just quickly looking her up. Dominic Fishback.
Okay.
Right, and she's supposed to be some sort of archaeologist, right?
Okay.
Because of course, in order to find the MacGuffin, you have to be able to find. So I think what would have made this film more impactful is if Haley Steinfeld decided to pursue a career in archaeology, right? Because after finding,
or she's just in it,
and it's just because
So the problem is there's no connection with this character, or she's not believable.
Because what happens is, are we in spoilers right now?
Yeah, who's watching this movie that actually cares about spoilers?
Bumblebee actually dies.
Oh, okay.
You believe that he dies.
Of course.
And of course, if you had Haley Steinfeld in it, you would have felt a bigger emotional connection there.
Right.
Which it would have been like, bee, and then,
The fundamental problem I have with these movies is they're trying to humanize every aspect of it. So they always have to have a human character, but they don't know what to do with the human character.
Right.
So that's why I think there's always a MacGuffin that's human size.
Yeah.
So the human can hold on to it. They're like, we'll protect you. You run off into a cave. Right. Whatever, you run off into a car.
Because Beast Wars, there was no humans.
No,
but
because it was a prehistoric times.
And I think you might as well done that, because every human, except for probably the Bumblebee movie,
why did they do that?
Is always screaming, running, asking questions, doing the exposition. And in this one, it's really convoluted and unnecessary. Why these two humans are running around with the Autobots?
I guess they don't trust that the robots are able to, audiences can connect enough with the robots.
Yeah, I think partly.
Which that seems silly, but
I think
why?
It's extremely silly.
Yeah, anyway.
It's like saying, I don't think I can understand or connect with Woody or Buzz in Toy Story.
Yeah,
right?
But it's the fact that it's on Earth, so you have to have some sort of human element.
But why do an origin story, Rob? Again, it's an origin story where he doesn't know there's Transformers, so he finds himself in a car, and the car is really cool.
Yes.
For what it's worth, the next Transformer film, Transformer 1, I think is the title, is going to take place on Cybertron,
where there will be a human, right?
We'll see. Hopefully not.
Okay, so I remember one main complaint I had from the first Bayformers that I watched was, and all the subsequent Bayformers, was everything's sort of a gray blur. All the action, you can't really follow anything. I did hear that when Bumblebee, the reset kind of a little bit, it was better. Where does this fall in that?
It goes back to schlocky action, where especially you saw in the trailer that final fight. It's like a million things fighting each other.
I see.
Bunch of robots fighting a bunch of other robots.
Okay.
But I think the CG was much better.
It's good CG.
It was still clear. You didn't have too much shaky cam.
Yeah.
There's not too much shaky cam going into the perspective of Transform, just everywhere. You can see all the action sequences, which I thought was better.
Okay.
Right?
True, but I guess, I don't know if this is a nitpick or maybe a major pick, but I like the G1 simple blocky look. Like with these Transformers, a good example is Optimus Prime. He's got a mask. Everybody knows, and he talks like this, right?
Yeah.
Everybody understands. But these movies, for some reason, for whatever reason, always want to give him a face. But the face is kind of unclear. You don't know why it's there. The mask is a lot easier to read. And I don't know, Rob, if you agree. I just feel these Transformers, they just look way too complicated. And it's hard to follow things.
Well, I have a hot take on this.
Ooh, okay.
Sorry, but just in terms of the shape and stuff, I think it's because I remember vaguely when Bayformers first came out, they were saying they had to design the robots so that all the parts actually could transform and actually fit into the vehicle. So they actually worked it out so that it wasn't just magical, it all folds up and it works. So then they tried to work out the internal logic to make it actually real, I think. And that's maybe why it looks like that. Anyway, sorry, Rob, go ahead.
And on top of that, they also had corporate sponsors, General Motors, and they could only use specific vehicles.
Yeah, Chevrolet. I have no problem if they're using Chevrolet or Ford or whatever, Mitsubishi, but can you make it look a little bit cleaner so that I know what's going on? Like when there's too many things moving, it's just not good. I actually thought, I told Rob after, I think the better character arc would have been, the main character connects with RC, who's a motorcycle, and she's basically a tall human. She can fit in an actual car.
Okay.
RC's the female Transformer. And I thought that would have been much more different. This is the same thing. It's Mirage Bumblebee with a human.
Right.
And the human's, making jokes. He's down on his luck. He's kind of in a bad place. And then he, finds his life mission with the Transformers. Yeah. So anyways.
Well, again, going back to my hot take.
Yes.
I think the reason why they designed the Transformers the way they are is ultimately, number one, to sell toys. Because you can only do G1 so much until the audience becomes, I'm kind of bored of this, right? So what they have is that they have an R&D group to look at, how can we make things look fresh, make it look more modern, perhaps more futuristic? Because if you look at some of the stuff back in the 80s, I mean, it looks like it's 80s. Like when you look at this Optimus Prime here, or the Soundwave, I mean, they look dated, right? So this is their way of saying, okay, here's a design. Let's just try and do this so that way we can.
This one they tried to make it closer to this form, where he's what do you call that truck? Where it's
semi-truck?
but it's the front is flat instead of going like this, and also he just looks more like that. So I'm okay with that. For some reason, they keep on thinking it's really funny and cool. After 7 movies, that Bumblebee cannot speak, he can't speak in this one either. He's using the radio and using 90s clips, right, from songs and TV shows. And I'm like, well, you did that 15 years ago. Can you just make him talk?
Did you notice that some of the songs that were playing were actually after 1994?
Yeah, I read that in reviews too.
Was it with Chasing Waterfalls, TLC? That came out in 95.
Right. Good point.
I've read that too, that some of the songs were anachronistic. I mean, but I think these blocky designs of G1 is so much more iconic. It's so much more recognizable, right? When I designed Halloween costumes for my kids when they dressed up as Optimus and Bumblebee, it was the older ones, right?
Yeah.
And so,
well, keep in mind, boxes are easier to make.
Yes, I did use cardboard boxes, so maybe you're right. Yeah, there might have been form-following function there.
Maybe that might be a nitpick, but in general, this movie is pretty much like a better version of the Bayformers. I think it's a little bit better than, maybe not the first one, but the 2, 3, 4, 5. It's probably better than those ones. Okay. One thing before we say this, since we're deep into spoilers, there is a big reveal at the end.
Yeah, The Rock shows up.
Well, almost.
Could be.
But there is going to be the G.I. Joe crossover.
Oh, okay.
Because an agent tries to recruit Anthony Ramos.
Yes.
And gives him this card.
Yes.
And then at the end, when he looks at the back of the card, it says G.I. Joe.
Real American hero. Also made by Hasbro.
Yes.
So it looks that the next movie, maybe not Transformers 1, but the one after, will be a crossover. Yeah.
But
so they're starting this Hasbro universe.
Hasbro Cinematic Universe.
Yeah, the HCU.
Yeah. But they've done G.I. Joe.
But not with Transformers.
I know, but those weren't very well received,
no, they weren't,
right?
No. But The Rock was in the second one.
Yeah.
The Rise of Cobra.
Roadblock.
Was it The Rise of Cobra?
Yes, The Rise of Cobra.
And then there was another one, wasn't there? About...
Oh, Snake Eyes.
Snake Eyes.
Oh, yeah, Snake Eyes.
I haven't watched any of these. I just remember that one was quite critically panned as well.
It was absolutely terrible.
Okay, and so they've taken a bad franchise and then, let's join it up with another very poorly received franchise.
Well, the Transformers is
push it
much
together.
more commercially successful than
Yes.
G.I. Joe.
Yes.
So they're linking the two and hoping to reboot G.I. Joe.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's what they're trying to do.
Right.
And
Okay.
obviously, Hasbro being a toy company first,
Excellent.
really want to sell all the toys.
Excellent. The crossover I want to see is, and I have the comic books for this, is Transformers My Little Pony.
Okay.
Yes.
Also Hasbro. And,
You're a brony.
I am not. My daughter did enjoy.
I heard the show is the reboot show is really
the new one.
yeah.
Oh, I
it's
don't
really
know.
good. There's a lot of bronies out there. But then, anyways, maybe that would be awesome if
That
they
would
came
be,
in too.
Yeah, if they're building a cinematic universe,
Everybody wants one.
And there is another
everyone
movie
wants one. Everyone's chasing that.
in
cinematic.
collaboration with Hasbro, with Qui-Gon Jinn in it, Battleship.
Okay.
I forgot
That's
that
really
existed.
in the-
I forgot that existed. Yeah.
Okay. Well,
Okay. Well,
anyways,
Hasbro will tie it all together. What is your final grades and final words for Transformers: Rise of the Beast?
Okay, well, I'll go. I'm gonna give this movie a B.
A B.
Right?
Okay.
Because if I'm looking at Ambulance being a B minus benchmark, I like this more than Ambulance. So
Yeah, I'll give it a B as well. It definitely is not. I mean, I would rank it.
I mean, that's surprising. That's
I would rank
better than I thought,
the
given your
original
feedback.
Transformers 2007 movie,
Okay.
and then probably Bumblebee, and then this is like third.
Okay.
And that seems to be a lot of critics kind of something play with that
Right.
that order. And then there's the rest of it. And then Last Night all the way at the bottom.
You see, and this is why I haven't watched any of them, because for me, the original Bayformers was already sort of down here.
Yes,
right?
but that's like The Godfather compared to The Last Night. Okay, and it's just schlock on the screen,
Yes.
and I think people are just a lot of the fan base. They just want to see the cool fights and the transformation.
Last Night had Academy Award winner Anthony Hopkins in it.
Who did it clearly, so his grandkids would be like, "I want to watch a movie you're in," right? So I think he admitted that,
Bring me to see Optimus Prime.
basically.
yeah. Well, Oscar winner Michelle Yeoh as Air Razor was also in this.
Oh yeah, she's in so many things now.
Yeah.
A very high profile Asian actress now because of her win. Good for her. Okay, so the B's all around. Any final words?
B for Bumblebee.
B for Bumblebee. Okay.
B for beast.
I think for this, if you're a fan of Transformers, you're gonna enjoy it. But if you're like a casual fan, you'll probably nitpick at some of the areas because they do try to do some, like deep dives or Easter eggs into some of the lore.
Yeah.
There's like, the Energon and, the Maximals maximizing.
Right.
I mean, like, you have those small things that fans will appreciate, right? But as an overall film, yeah, I can see why some people would have issues with this.
I don't see this movie having any legs. I think anyone that really wants to watch the movie probably watch it opening weekend.
Yep.
And as we saw with Fast X, no legs, just go straight into streaming like less than a month after it came out,
3
right?
weeks.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
And because, again, we're in this blockbuster season. I mean, there's so many movies coming out. What's coming out next? Flash,
and
Dial of Destiny.
Dial of Destiny.
But yeah, these are high-profile films that if I can't see, sort of a casual moviegoer. Oh, okay, like I'll
Yeah, I know
watch
what you
this
mean.
again, or I'll watch kind of go back to the. So anyway, let's see how. I don't think it'll do particularly well after this week.
Right.
So anyway, until next episode, keep watching. Let's see if we can get the correct line to come out of Optimus Prime here.
Go get 'em.
Nope. Take 2. Try again.
Autobots, transform.
Oh, why?
That's not bad.
That's close. That's close. Why doesn't he say roll out? Okay, anyway. Until next episode, keep rolling out.
And like and subscribe to our channel. Thank you so much.
We're also on Spotify and Apple Podcasts in the description below. Thanks.